important to me how she formed her flying passion and how she went on an around-the-world flight and mysteriously disappeared, and how she fought for women's rights. Everybody was saying, like, girls can't do like this, women don't have the same rights as everybody else, and she proved that girls and women can fly, and so she flew, and she changed a lot of things. In the presentation, we're going to learn about who is Amelia Earhart, when we started her in flying, what was the disappearance, and we're in the introduction, Amelia's first few flight trips, and has Amelia ever gotten hurt, and why did I choose Amelia? And you might know who Amelia is, but today I guarantee you will learn something new. So, who is Amelia Earhart? Amelia was born in her grandmother's house in Kansas on July 24th, 1897. Amelia was the first woman to fly a plane. She was also the first woman to fly over the Atlantic and the Pacific. And Amelia was a pioneer, and as you know, like, she was the first one to do things, like first woman to fly, first woman to fly over the Atlantic and the Pacific. So she was always like the first person to stand up. In some stages of Amelia's life, she was a writer, speaker, and a fashion designer. Wow. And then, as you know, she was a big fighter for women's rights. She was a nurse from 1917 to 1918 because she wanted to help the soldiers, like the army, the military in World War I. She was very rich as a child, but her father had a really hard time keeping jobs. And she loved her parents a lot, especially her handsome, funny father. They had a really special bond. And but her teenage years were really hard. Her parents divorced, and after the divorce, her mother, her sister, and her, Amelia, moved to Chicago. Amelia and her sister Muriel went to Hyde Park School. Amelia was an A+ student, but then she needed to get some fresh air, so she boarded the train for a gone school in Pennsylvania at 19 years old. Now, what was the big disappearance? So just before Amelia's 40th birthday, Amelia wanted to be first to fly in the world, but it had already been done. When it had already been done, it was up here. So that's a shorter path around the world. But Amelia, she was going to fly on the equator. So that's such a harder and longer trip because you're on the equator. So it's hot, and it's harder because it's easy to get off tracks, and it's much longer. It's the widest part of the globe. It was 29,000 miles.
Oh my gosh.
July 9th.